To get those last few notes in. Okay, we're looking at the different types of seventh chords we get. We're going to look at the major seventh chord, nice dreamy, nice for jazz, soft sound to it. We're going to look at the dominant seventh sound that they brought from the fifth position. We'll look at it later. It's good for blues. The minor seventh sound, got a darker sound because it's minor. And then the minor 7 flat 5, which has got a different sound, sort of leans towards the diminished because of the flattened fifth. But we'll look at that all later. What we're going to do is we're going to look at each type of chord and see why is a major seventh chord called a major seventh chord. And underneath it on that PDF file that I sent you, you'll see it says notes from the major scale 1, 3, 5, 7. Now let's look at the major scale and see what that means. You know your do, re, mi. You must know that scale. One more time. And let's count the notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And those numbers I've counted out loud correspond with the numbers that it says next to note from the major scale. In other words, the chord C major 7 uses the first note, the third note, the fifth note, and the seventh notes of the major scale. So these notes, and if I include the octave, that's optional. It doesn't affect the chord, it just sort of completes it. But this we can refer to as the major seventh arpeggio. Now on the solo that you watched at the beginning, the first time that I played through the chord sequence, I used only arpeggios, and that actually worked quite nicely. And the second time I went more scale, but that's for another day. Okay, so this is the major seventh arpeggio shape, and if I needed an F major arpeggio, F major seventh arpeggio, I'd go to F there and I'd do the same thing. So these arpeggio shapes are sort of like bar chords. They've got the same concept. You just move them around the guitar as you need them. Okay, now we're going from C major 7 to C 7 to hear the difference. You can automatically hear that note is gone. It's been flattened or lowered. Okay, now if you look at your notes again of the major scale and you stop on the 7th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you flatten the 7th, you automatically start going towards a dominant 7th chord. And if you look where it says dominant 7ths, and in brackets it says 7th, it says 1, 3, 5, flat 7 next to notes from the major scale. So here you're going to have your dominant 7th arpeggio, and here's your major 7th arpeggio. You can hear the difference there. Now be careful, because I've noticed that sometimes we think of C7 or G7 as actually C major 7th or G major 7th. That is not the case. It must stipulate major next to the 7th. If it doesn't, it automatically defaults to dominant 7th. Very important. So C7, C dominant 7, same chord. Okay, not major 7. The next chord we're going to look at is the minor 7 chord. Now, if you look where it says notes from major scale, it says flat 3, 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7. So we say, okay, wait a minute, 1, 2, 3, let's flatten that. So we make the E to an E flat, and that's not really a cool stretch. So we're saying we're going to take him that's moving around, and we're going to stick him there. It's also E flat. So I'm just changing the shape, not the notes. C, there's my E flat, my flattened third. My fifth is still the same, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And my flattened seventh is going to be here, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, flattened 7. So very important, when we start going into chords and you start seeing sharpened ninths and all those weird things, they're referring to the position the note is found in the scale starting on the same note. It's specifically the major scale starting on the same note. So C minor 7, here's your arpeggio shape. Now the opening two chords for this little jam track was C major 7, and they went to D minor 7. So if I wanted to solo with arpeggio, I've automatically got a solo that has to work. It's physically impossible to be out of tune, because all I'm doing with arpeggio is I'm playing the individual notes of the chord. Works quite nicely, huh? So if you know your shapes, you can create some really cool solos and some very cool riffs as well, without having to worry too much about keys. Another chat, okay. The last chord in this study is going to be the minor 7 flat 5. Its name says everything. It's a minor, so it's got a flattened third. If you look under notes from major scale, 1 flat 3. Its name says flattened fifth, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth has been flattened. Okay. The seventh is flattened. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 has been flattened. So there's my chord. C minor 7 flat 5, and there's my arpeggio. And this note here, the flattened fifth, gives a nice diminished sound. Creates suspense. Nice for jazz, okay? You also find it quite a bit in classical pieces, not that much in rock. Okay, so let's just rewind. You've got your major 7th arpeggio. Then you're going to change by flattening the 7th into a dominant 7th arpeggio. Then you're going to minor 7, so the third has been flattened. And you'll notice that the minor 7th note in the minor 7 chord is the same as the flattened 7th note in the dominant 7th chord. And then lastly, your minor 7 flat 5. Now we're not going to go into 7 sus2s and 7 sus4s and a minor with a major 7 and full diminished now. We first want to get the basic chords, so we want to build up your chord vocabulary. And I think if you've got a very good 7th bass and you can play each 7th chord at least in 3 different ways, you've got an incredibly nice starting place. Now on the PDF file I sent you, it's going to have your chord starting with a 6th string, for example major 7th here. It's going to have your major 7th starting from the 5th string. Same chord, different voicing. Remember, voicing means I'm playing the same chord just differently, okay? And then we can also have your C7th here with the root on the D string. Now, I'm not going to go through every single shape now in the video, because by the time I've got to the 4th or 5th shape, you might have forgotten it. But I'd like to encourage you to do the next exercise with me, but have your PDF file printed out or on your computer screen and get to know those shapes. It's really important. It's really going to help you if you're serious about guitar. What we're going to do is we're going to take the chords C major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, G7 can go here or it can go here. I just went for the lower just so it doesn't get too high in pitch. A minor 7, B minor 7 flat 5. And that resolves so nicely back to C, which I then take back to C major 7 on the second time through. So if you'd like a copy of the backtrack, just email me, WhatsApp me, and I'll send it to you. But let's play those chords through and see why those chords work well together. Okay, why does C major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, why do they work? Must be a reason. Now say after me slowly: major 7, minor 7, minor 7, major 7. Ready? Major 7, minor 7, minor 7, major 7. That's your first four. Okay, now let's look at the first four notes in the key of C. C, D, E, F. Okay, C is position 1. 1 is major 7. 2 was minor 7, and that's D, C, D. D minor 7. 3 was minor 7. 1, 2, 3, and it's E. E minor 7. Fourth note, 1, 2, 3, 4 was major 7, major 7, and it's F major 7. Okay, so basically that major, minor, minor, major, all being sevenths, is basically determining your sequence starting on the first, second, third, and fourth notes. When you get to the fifth note, it's dominant 7, simply called 7. 6 is minor 7 again, and then you end off minor 7 flat 5 and back to your octave. So the complete sequence now is going to go from the beginning: major 7, minor 7, minor 7, major 7, dominant 7, minor 7, and then minor 7 flat 5. 7 different types of sevenths, which make sense because there's 7 different notes in each major key. A would be the sixth, G would be the fifth, and then the seventh would obviously be the minor 7 flat 5. So you're going to think to yourself: major 7, minor 7, minor 7, major 7, dominant 7, minor 7, minor 7 flat 5, octave, because those note names give me the chord sequences: C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, C major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, G 7, A minor 7, B minor 7 flat 5, onto the root, and back to where we started. Works quite nicely here. Okay, I hope you got that all, and yeah, let me know if you'd like a copy of the backtrack. It's a very nice backtrack to play with. I think you'll have endless hours of fun with it. And the first time, try and solo with the arpeggio shapes. I'm going to finish up with a solo again with it. And then the second time through, try and just play the normal scale in the key of C major. And you can play any one of the modes in the key of C major. So if you go Dorian, must be from D, for example. If you got a Phrygian riff, must be from E, for example. Okay, let's just have one last jam. Again, the first time, strictly arpeggios, and you should see these shapes. You must memorize. Major 7, minor 7, etc., etc., but from the corresponding root notes. Let's go. C major 7. Have an awesome day, and I hope you enjoy the study. Cheers.